So, are deadlifts bad for your back? The short answer is no.
My back. Oh, my back.
Should have been deadlifting, Spidey-Boy. Why did I say that?
The slightly longer answer is hell no. The even longer answer is going to be the entirety of this video. Now, as with most fitness myths, it does have a grain of truth. And that grain is that it is possible to hurt your back with deadlifts. But I think that is not really a cause for concern, and it is certainly not a reason to not deadlift.
To be alive if you can't do that.
So first, let's look at some statistics on back pain. Back pain is the leading cause of missed work in the United States. Yes, more than sickness, perhaps not more than coronavirus this year, but historically it is a major, if not the leading cause of missed work. Up to 80% of adults will experience back pain at some point in their lives. Is all of this being caused by deadlifts? No.
My back.
And according to the CDC, across the United States, this costs employers $225.8 billion per year in a loss of productivity.
Here you go.
You gotta be kidding me.
My back.
And the average claim against an employer is $40,000 to $80,000 just from lower back pain.
My bad.
And this isn't even from physical activity, let alone deadlifting. More than half of these claims are from people who are almost entirely sedentary, just sitting in their desk all damn day. And 500,000 people per year make lower back workers' compensation claims. Every single year. Crazy. So I'll link this article in the description, but I found this line in particular to be both hilarious and also kind of depressing. Another cause of workplace back injury is through manual handling. This can range from injuries sustained when lifting heavy objects to bending unsafely to pick up pieces of paper on the floor. How far have we fallen as a species that we get hurt picking up pieces of paper? The animal kingdom is looking at us like a joke, okay? The chimp in the zoo is like, oh, look at him. He's bending over. He spends all his day at his desk. He's bending over to pick up a piece of paper. Oh, he's just snapped his shit up. Oh, he's just, he just snapped his shit up. Should have been deadlifting.
Oh, my back.
Here's another gem of a line. Back pain is especially effective at keeping people off of work. It's written from the perspective of back pain. It's like, come on, back pain, you show these humans what's up. It also says here, only 10% of people identify the cause of their back pain, which is astonishing. 90% is what is known as non-specific back pain. So you can't actually identify what is causing the pain. So I can say with great certainty that at least 90% are not caused by deadlifts, okay? Because usually if you get hurt when deadlifting, it's very, very much immediately apparent. You know, something pops and it's not common at all. So I would say a tiny, tiny, minuscule fraction of back pain is caused by deadlifts. Like a just ridiculously small percentage. I don't know the exact number, but I'm guessing way, way under 1%. Most people don't go to the gym. A lot of people don't deadlift, and it's just not very common to have back pain from deadlifting. It can happen, especially at a very high level. A lot of powerlifters do encounter back issues when they're, pushing the threshold of their potential. But for most people, deadlifting is not unhealthy. In fact, I would say deadlifting, and I say this with absolute certainty, and I will fight anyone, and I will die on this hill. Deadlifting, for almost everyone, is going to be the single best thing that you can do for your back. I've personally deadlifted more than 5 million kilos. I tracked my tonnage in my exercise log up until late 2019, and I had 3.4 million kilos up until then. No back issues. I've never had any back issue ever from deadlifting or anywhere else. So clearly deadlifting is maybe not as bad as people think. And one thing that struck me when reading through all this research, I've spent the whole morning reading through it, is that deadlifting and resistance training in general is just not talked about. Like, none of these studies, none of these analyses, none of these, articles, none of them talk about deadlifting. And very few of them even mention resistance training. A lot of them say, like, get up and walk and that can help, but you're not actually correcting the problem. The problem is weakness. If you are weak, you open the door to injuries. If you are strong, you close that door pretty damn hard. And especially in the American medical system, it's not preventative. They're not actually saying, okay, what is the problem? How do we fix this problem? It's, okay, we have this problem. Let's either wait until it goes away or treat the symptoms. So pop a bunch of painkillers, anti-inflammatories, sleeping pills, pile on the pills, and, hope for the best. And this is part of the reason why, it goes away within 6 weeks or so for 90% of people. Again, I'll link this in the description. It's thought that between 60 and 80% of employees experience the same issues within 2 years. So they're not really addressing the problem. They're just sort of smoothing it over. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate the deadlift. At the end of the day, it's just picking something up. It's just a loaded picking something up off of the ground. It's just a hinge movement. It's not really that technical or that complicated of a movement, especially compared to some other movements. So the deadlift is not particularly difficult to learn. There are layers of complexity, but just to learn and start deadlifting should be a day one type of thing. It's in starting strength for a reason. And let's compare a deadlift to a clean and jerk. The clean and jerk is generally not vilified, but the deadlift is. The deadlift is hinging forward, pushing the hips back, hinging, and picking something up. The clean is an explosive deadlift, essentially, followed by a reversal, followed by triple extension, an explosive shrug in a lot of cases, launching the bar upwards, diving under the bar into a full squat position, attempting to catch the bar on your front delts, and hopefully not the clavicles, rebounding out of the bottom position, attempting to stand up, recentering, refocusing, rebracing, dipping into an explosive quarter squat, reversing off of the patellar tendons, launching the bar upward above your skull, attempting to catch it in midair in a split position or in a power jerk position, and then standing up and holding a huge weight, potentially hundreds of pounds, above your head. And deadlifting is dangerous? Come on. I mean, neither should be vilified. Neither are particularly dangerous when performed well, but still, I really don't think deadlifting deserves all of the hate that it gets at all. So manage your technique. Learn how to brace your core. You're not just bending forward and picking something up, you're actually keeping your midsection braced. Like you're about to drop a big one, or you're about to get punched in the stomach. You need to learn how to brace. It's not flexing your abs and breathing out like some dumbass coaches say.
Now do it the way I'm showing you here. Breathe out and tighten down. Contract your abs forcefully. Be conscious of how hard you're contracting your abs.
Make sure that you've expelled the air.
Try it right now and see how unstable you feel. You lose all the stability and you should lose a lot of strength.
My back.
Go do some face pulls.
It is completely different. It's a very different feeling. You can deadlift with a belt, without a belt, but you need to be able to brace. That is crucial. That is essential. You also need to be able to hinge, be able to use your hips, your hamstrings, your glutes, rather than just like picking up the weight. You also need to learn good positioning. Again, this is not a super complicated movement, but you still should be able to do it right if you want to actually make use of the movement. You also should be following a reasonable program. Okay, if you're doing 10 sets of 10 on deadlifts, maybe not the best. Okay, yeah, that might lead the door open to injury because your program is not particularly reasonable. Same thing with progressions. If you're adding 10 kilos of weight per week to the bar and you expect to be able to do that for 10 or 15 or 20 weeks, well, that's not going to end well, because at a certain point, the effort is going to be so high and your technique is going to break down and you just won't be able to complete the workouts. And then, yeah, you might get injured. But that's not a problem with deadlifts. That's a problem with your dumbass programming. Same thing with fatigue management. If you're just cross-fitting all your workouts,
hips and shoulders rise together, and we're looking for that on the initial pull. So what I want you guys to take a look at is her torso angle here, and I'm gonna highlight it with just this PVC pipe.
We're used to seeing Sarah, last year's rookie sensation, make things look a lot easier, make them look effortless, but this just started to fall apart. She's at her limits here. She couldn't lock it in even from the...
yes, that can lead to injury inherently. But again, not the deadlift, it's your choices. So in general, start out light. You don't have to start out with a 1 rep max. You don't have to ever do a 1 rep max or a 3 rep max or an any rep max. The deadlift is such a big movement that you do not need to train close to failure. On isolation stuff, fair enough. But on deadlifts, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to train to failure or even close to failure because you're already getting a lot of benefit from non-failure training. You're also going to want to control the weight. If you start pulling on the bar and it's pulling you out of position, not a good situation, okay? You should be controlling the bar, not the other way around. And you see when people snap their shit up, they start to pull and they just get completely rounded over, lower back, mid back, upper back, everywhere, entire back, just cat backed, like a dog taking a poop, and they're poop dog deadlifting the deadlift, and yeah, the bar gets them injured because the bar is controlling them, not the other way around. I would also generally stick between 5 and 10 reps. You can go above 10. There's nothing wrong with above 10 reps. You can go below 5 as well. You know, if you're doing sets of 4, sets of 3, it's not like your arms fall off or something. Or even sets of 2 or sets of 1. But generally speaking, 5 to 10 is a good range for the deadlift, where it's not so heavy that you get aggressive and get built up and you get out of position, etc. But it's also not so high that large amounts of fatigue develop and you get other issues on that side of things. So for most people, 5 to 10 is a good range. And a lot of people think that I have a bad back, therefore I should not deadlift. And this is like saying I am overweight, therefore I should not diet. Okay, it's exactly what you need. For most cases, consult your doctor, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. In most cases, if you have lower back pain, deadlifting done properly can actually help. And I've encountered people where I had to sort of coax them into deadlifting. They're like, oh, I thought deadlifting was bad for your back. I've had back pain for a while now. And I just, convinced them, okay, let's just try it. Let's just start light, start easy. And then a few weeks later, they're like, holy shit, my back pain is gone. This is incredible. Why didn't I do this years before? And that's a great feeling as a coach, actually causing a measurable and positive impact in someone's life. So I encourage everyone to deadlift. It sure beats snapping your shit up when you're picking up a piece of paper.
No! Ow! Oh, God!
All right, that's all for this video. Like, subscribe, slap around that notification button so that you decide what you watch, not some algorithm that YouTube doesn't even understand themselves. And I will see you in that next video. Peace.